All right, today's Math in the News has to do with different types of homes, and this is a SuperAdobe house. And I know that a lot of students, especially in California, have probably seen these types of houses and homes, especially the materials that they're used to build these with. Mostly sandbags, plaster, and then they use other earthen materials to make these houses. And these are new homes that they're building, but they've been around for hundreds and thousands of years throughout the southwestern United States. So let's take a look at it right now, and then we'll get to our math part of it also. So they're created by Cal Earth, and they're built from sandbags, barbed wire, soil, and water to create an eco-friendly space that can withstand environmental impacts. And that's why we wanted to bring this. This is Math in the News. The news is environmental impacts, especially with natural disasters that do a lot of destruction to different buildings. But you can see where they've got the sandbags, they're starting to pile those up. You've got the barbed wire helping to connect those, and then later on they apply some plaster to them to make everything uniform and stay together a little bit more. So as we keep going. So earthquakes and fires help to shape the structure's design. The dome is a very important part of architecture, and a lot of architecture around the world, some of the more famous ones and the older ones, are created with domes and arches because those are very strong and can withhold a lot of weight with the arches. All right, UV resistant bags. Very important because of how much sun is going to be hitting outsides of houses, obviously, right? The barbed wire is placed between as reinforcement, as I said a little bit earlier. Here is where the plaster is being added, and then that further reinforces all of the different materials to bond together. It can be built without heavy equipment because a lot of times you're going to need cranes and other things coming in. So you can do where you can actually put a building together in a day. Based on the size of the building, you're able to do that. But the big thing is resistance to flooding, fires, earthquakes, other natural disasters, and they last, I mean, as long as you're going to last, the house is going to last, all right? So these are things that are in the news recently because of housing shortages, need to develop new ways, eco-friendly ways to develop housing, and especially here in California. So moving on, taking a look at perimeter and circumference of houses. So if we have a house that most of us probably live in, it's probably pretty rectangular. So if we want to find out the perimeter of the house, we simply take the measurements and add them up. So if it's 10 feet on this side, it's also going to be 10 feet on this side. 17 up here, 17 here also. So to do the perimeter, you simply add up all four sides. So the 17 and 17 make 34, the 10 and the 10 make 20. So here we can see that the perimeter is 54 feet. That's the distance around the house. But if we want the area, then we need to take a look at the footprint, which would be 17 times 10 would be 170 square feet. So now we're going to take a look at the perimeter of a dome house, which is often called the circumference also, because now we're dealing with a circle. There are two things you need to remember about using circles and the numbers that are associated with them. So you have 2 pi. Kind of ironic that you're here today, Hudson, and we're dealing with pi, right? I had no idea your favorite number was pi until a little bit ago. 2 pi r, and r is the radius. That is to find the circumference. Then we take all of the same elements, but now we're going to go pi r squared to find the area of a circle. So you're using the same 3 pieces, but you have to rearrange them if you're doing circumference or area of a circle. So if we want to do the circumference of this circle, we know that the diameter is 10, which means the radius, which is halfway, is 5. So if we put that in here, we have 2 pi 5, so we can just manipulate the 2 and the 5. So that would be 10 pi, and it is still feet. So we can know that that would be around 30-something feet as far as the circumference goes. That is today's Math in the News. We'll be back with more right after this.